So about a week ago, I launched this discussion group on Facebook. Now, I started this group completely on a whim. Really, this was not some big thought out plan. And really what I wanted to do is to create a place where people of differing political perspectives could have conversation and dialogue because, listen, it was purely selfish. I was going insane. I was living on Twitter and Facebook, and as we all know, those are basically the cesspools of humanity where no rational conversation is had ever. And yes, I'm acknowledging I created this group on Facebook, but it was my group, and I created it in a way where I could have more control over what was going on. I could set the rules, I could say who would be a member, and I could boot people out if they broke the rules. Now, I did not have some big plan for this. It was created on a whim because I was losing my mind. And it turns out that it seemed to really resonate with a lot of people because in less than a week, about 2,000 people have joined it. And as you can see by the stats on the screen, we have had almost 86,000 posts and comments and reaction. There have been about 700-800 posts overall. And on those posts, we've had over 86,000 interactions from about a pool of 2,000 members. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect it to grow this quickly. I did not. And we're going through some growing pains right now. We're going through growing pains of trying to figure out what is an appropriate dynamic, what's allowed, what's not allowed. You know, there are basically general rules in the group saying you will not insult people, and the goal is not to change people's minds. It's simply to have a dialogue. But we're really trying to figure out what our group norms are. And so we're going through some growing pains. I think we're going to get there. I'm putting some things in place to provide more structure. There's also going to be an option for a platform off of Facebook that's going to be coming soon. But the reason I wanted to make this video was a couple of things. First off, in the chaos of people learning how to communicate in this type of environment with each other, I've noticed very distinctly, there are a few learnings. Number one, people on the left and the right and in the center, and frankly of every type of varying political persuasion you want, they're not speaking the same language. I see this come up over and over and over again in the group where someone on the left might say something, someone on the right completely misinterprets that thing, and then they get into a little squabble because they have a fundamental misunderstanding about how language is being used. Now, I see this all the time in work environments. I bet if you work in more of a traditional office environment, or frankly a non-traditional one too, you probably see this all the time where if someone has a different communication style than you, it can be very easy to go into interpersonal conflict because you literally do not understand the words that each other are using. I think I probably should have suspected that this was going to come up in this type of group environment, but frankly, I just didn't. It didn't occur to me. But now I've seen it over and over again. So the takeaway here is that in order to have civil dialogue, civil discourse, we literally have to learn a new language. Whether you're on the left, right, center, anywhere else, you literally have to learn a new language in order to communicate with each other. So we're going to be working on that in the group. But another takeaway that I've learned that I really wanted to talk about today was, listen, the reason that I'm getting such a response to this is because there are a lot of people out there who have undergone a lot of hurt and have taken a lot of insults based on simply expressing their political beliefs on social media and frankly and in real life. And we had a discussion about that, and it's still going on in the group, but I want to actually share it with you in person and share some of the comments that I've been getting on this. Now, of course, you can see I've censored all of the names, so we don't know who says what because this is a private group. I'm respecting people's privacy. However, I think that this dialogue is actually critically important. And it all started off with this post. Hi all, if you watch Dr. K's recent live Facebook video, I did a live video in the group basically explaining some of these ideas. She mentions that conservatives here may be kind of overly enthusiastic because they are not used to having a place where they can discuss issues without being attacked. I would guess that most conservatives here have had that experience. I'm really curious to know if the liberal-leaning members have had a sense of what she is referring to there or not, and if so, what is your reaction to that? And so what I'm going to do in this video is read some of the responses because they're really critically important to understand. Conservatives, if you think that you are the only ones being attacked on social media for your beliefs, you're wrong. Liberals, if you think you are the only ones that are being attacked on social media because of your beliefs, you're wrong. You all have so much more in common than you might like to admit. And so we're going to talk about that, but listen, I just want to do a quick plug for the channel. If you like the type of content I'm producing, please go ahead, like, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, give it, turn on the notifications, whatever the thing. If you think you are subscribed, just go ahead and double check it for me because I get comments every single day from people who are like, oh, Carlin, I had to resub to your channel today. And listen, if I haven't convinced you to subscribe yet, it's all good, man. I'll get you at some point. But so let's talk about the comments that I received, or rather that this person received, to their very thoughtful question. I've been attacked and called a bigot by a friend who has now blocked me and my uncle, and I no longer talk because he believes me to be a pro-Trump gun nut. I've never even really considered what a Republican would consider a conservative. Now, even though this original post was directed towards the liberals, we got comments from all sides. That happens all the time. So you're going to see that as we continue to go through these. I'm afraid to post anything pro-Trump in my social media. My liberal friends always post whatever they want without being attacked. I posted something once, and 3 friends that I loved very much unfriended me. Listen, I have literally thousands of emails in my inbox from people who have lost friends, lost family members. Their marriage might be in trouble. Their kids won't speak to them over politics. I literally have thousands of messages that say that. If you are on the right, you can count on being attacked. You also have to worry about losing your social media accounts, being doxxed, and if they can pull it off, they'll get you fired. This one is highlighted with purple because the next 2 comments are from this same person, and I just wanted to make sure I was associating them. You don't even have to be on the right for this to be true. I'm a traditional liberal in every sense. I became disgusted with the hate and negativity coming from my party. So when I discovered Walkaway, I joined and instantly felt a sense of belonging. Through some fellow members, I was invited to attend a trash cleanup put on by pro-Trump group hosting Scott Presler. I loved the Stop Talking, Start Doing message, so I went. Less than a week after attending the event, I was let go after 15 years. And this person continues, I guess using the word is still tough for me. Yes, I was fired. I attended the cleanup on January 25th. When I went to work the following Monday, a couple of people mentioned that the boss knew what I had been up to over the weekend. I was fired that Friday, January 31st. I had been with the company since 2005 and had worked my way up from a receptionist to comptroller. This woman lost her job. I'll say it. I mean, I shouldn't give away. It is a woman. She lost her job. She lost her job over going to a trash cleanup. Now, I work with organizations to fire people all the time. I really do, and I hate it, and it is the worst thing. But if you don't believe that she can lose her job over some nonsense like this, I got a bridge to sell you, man, because this literally happens all the time in organizations where someone does something that you don't like, they post something on social media that you don't like, and all of a sudden they find a way to rationalize firing them. I absolutely believe her story. I believe it 100%. As someone from the left, I too have been attacked by those on the right. I have blocked family members because of the hatred that was directed my way by them. I guess the attacks come from both sides. I always attack the idea with facts to back me up and not the person. And this person continues, it would be comments on things I would post. If, for example, I posted that Planned Parenthood offers cancer screenings for both men and women and charges based on the income, people would immediately begin with things like, the only thing Planned Parenthood does is kill babies. Nothing else. If you support Planned Parenthood, you must be a baby killer. When facts are pointed out that services performed by Planned Parenthood and which ones are common, deaf ears and blind eyes follow, and people would refuse to see anything other than baby killing. And listen, I've had that experience myself. I've had that experience quite recently. It's why I made the group in the first place, so that I could post things without being called horrible names just like this, because I am still a liberal, regardless of what you guys might think. So it happens to both the left and the right. Let's keep going. It does. I'm a liberal and I've been called many stupid things, libtard being the more mild of them. Yes, life in America. Yeah, oh my God. Listen, conservatives, if I could erase one single word from all of your collective vocabularies, libtard would be the one. I'm telling you what, man, that single word probably prevented me from having a rational conversation with any conservative for years, because I was so sick of being called that word. If you just stop using it, it is so unnecessary. I think it's worth mentioning regularly, just so everyone stays, if not nice, at least not abusive. She's talking about this type of conversation where we're talking about that we've all been hurt on social media. That's what she's talking about, being mentioned more regularly. We have all been verbally abused here on Facebook and in everyday conversations, so all of us, in one way or another, are damaged by many previous discussions that became ugly. I have 2 liberal friends that allow me to voice my opinion. They never name call, and I don't believe they think poorly of me based on my political leanings. I appreciate their opinions more than people who agree with me, because I know that we love each other regardless. And this is a pretty common sentiment that comes up in the group is, sometimes liberals will join the group and I'll almost instantly get a message from them saying, there are way too many conservatives here, I can't possibly engage in this. But when I put that out there to the conservatives, they're like, oh my gosh, we want to engage with you. They want a strong Democratic Party. They don't think that one party rule is even an ideal thing. They want to be able to engage, and they're looking for people to engage with them in these discussions. They don't want to be an echo chamber. But liberals, man, you guys got to step up to the plate. And again, I am one of you. I'm absolutely one of you. You've got to come with an open mind and have the discussion, because they're looking for it. They really are. I rarely post anything controversial, but today I posted a transcript of the whole disinfectant/UV debacle conference. I was genuinely trying to open a dialogue on how people can misinterpret something or how the media can twist things. And the amount of hate that spewed at me for that was insane. I have for sure lost friends over this. And I thought I was being very devil's advocate about it all. I have never said I was a Trump supporter. I have never voiced an affiliation. And at any time I try to play devil's advocate, my liberal friends jump all over me. I get it if they want to post constructive links to read or watch, but most of the vitriol is poison thrown at me. On the flip side, I have never ever commented on anyone's post that I disagree with. I just scroll past it and then not get involved, because I don't want them to get abusive with me if I happen to disagree. I've had death wished on me, been told multiple times to go like a doorknob, and when I said something about an insult, I was told they meant it. They hoped I would get coronavirus. I've been talked down to, told I was diseased, you name it. All because I said I support President Trump or corrected a false statement that was made about him. When an MSNBC reporter says that the silver linings to this virus is that it's probably killing older Trump supporters, something is seriously wrong. But still, nothing compared to what I've seen when a black person is supportive of the president. It's overwhelming. And we've seen that a couple times this week. We've seen that with state representatives in Georgia and in state representatives in Michigan, where one is a black man, one is a black woman, came out and voiced their support. The woman in Michigan didn't even say that she was going to vote for Trump or anything. The man in Georgia flat out said he was endorsing Trump and thought he would be a better candidate. The woman in Michigan, I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe she actually endorsed him. All she did was thank him because the drug that he's been touting, the hydroxychloroquine, saved her life. And she went to the White House and she thanked him for it. And she said, I didn't think that saying thank you was a political statement. This woman is now basically getting kicked out of the Democratic Party in Michigan because she thanked the president because her life was saved because of the drug. I mean, this is just, it's insane. It's insane. Unequivocally, yes, liberal-leaning people do feel pigeonholed, belittled, and bullied as their counterparts are feeling. Perhaps this is a circular discussion and a pissing contest which side is the biggest bully just needs to stop. I think that's a really great suggestion. Each individual needs to get quietly honest with your own self. Have I treated the other side in ways similar to those that I'm upset about? There is no path to consensus or unity until people are willing to put I think she said pissing contest aside. And that is what it is, a pissing contest. Everyone ends up feeling pissed on and nobody ever wins. I thought that that was one of the most insightful comments of the whole discussion about looking inside yourself and asking yourself if you're saying and doing the things that you want the other side to stop. Listen, I study workplace bullying. I studied it for 10 years. I don't as much anymore, frankly, because it really brings me down every time I think about it. It is like a soul-sucking conversation. But one of the things we know about workplace bullying is that you know who's most likely to be a bully in the workplace? Someone who was bullied in the workplace. Workplace bullying begets more workplace bullying. So I suspect it's the same here. If people are continually insulted over the internet or wherever, anytime they're engaging in political conversations, then doesn't it stand to reason that those are the people that are most likely to start hurling those insults at some point because they really think it's the only way to go about things? You know, it makes sense to me. Let's keep going. I tend to be middle of the road, fiscally libertarian and socially liberal. I have had to call the police on one Trump supporter after he threatened me. I've lost friends from the left and friends from the right. I would suggest that if you look back 20 years ago, there wasn't so much extremism on either side. If we were to go then, if you were around then, I can guarantee you can name some politicians on the other side you respect. Today, the press on both sides, the extreme left and the extreme right views. That's not where 90% of Americans are. We are not fringe radicals. And this is something that I hope really happens in the group at some point, that we really start to see that most people are somewhere in the middle. They may be a little bit more on the right, they may be a little bit more on the left, whatever. Most people are not these extreme elements that are out to hate and are out to sow these divisions. Most people want these to be fixed, but we've all gone through basically a collective abuse is what I'm getting from this. Every single side feels abuse, and when you're hurt and when you're angry and when you're frustrated, all you want to do is give that back out to other people. Anger only ever begets more anger unless you make the choice to stop it, unless you make the choice to behave differently. I've seen many left-leaning folks get verbally abused by the right. It happens to both. I don't care what anyone says. Both sides are just as guilty of being a-holes sometimes. Not used to having a place to comment without being attacked? I guess it matters where you live. I live in Louisiana, a rabid red state, although we do have an excellent Democratic governor. There is a forum called Tiger Droppings that is a compilation of a lot of different forum topics, LSU sports, SEC sports, political talk. Let me tell you, I am presently banned from posting because I dared to express views that were outside of the, pardon my language, ultra-right circle jerk. Fox News and this new outfit, I don't know their name, but it's pretty reactionary. I mean, there's plenty of conservative outlets, including talk radio. I suppose that a conservative living in an urban blue environment might feel that way. I must say, though, I'm amused by the what I consider to be fiction that conservatives promote about being put upon and discounted by the mainstream media. After all, Republicans control the White House and the Senate. The woe is me act appears a little thin. Honestly, I would like to see folks with different views discuss those without resorting to tribalism and name-calling. Mr. Trump, however, promotes tribalism and name-calling, Little Marco, etc. Am I personally guilty of name-calling? Well, yeah, at times. When I hear someone muse about the efficacy of injecting disinfectant into one's lungs, I feel compelled to say that's BS crazy. And listen, man, I want to say, I don't like that Trump does this name calling thing. I really don't. It's one of the things that I do not like about Trump. I think it's so freaking pointless. But do I get why he does it? Yeah. And if you notice, if you watch Trump sometimes, not even sometimes, Trump only ever attacks people that are attacking him. Literally, he only ever goes after people that are coming after him. Watch this happen. He does not proactively go on offense. Anytime you see him coming at people, it's because they've come at him. And that's not to excuse what he does, because your actions are not based on what people do to you. Your actions are your choice. You choose how you respond. So I'm not dismissing him. I'm not giving him a hall pass or any of those things. But I will say there is a reason he's doing it. So what if, I'm just going to pause it here for a second, and I know I'm about to speak crazy talk. What if people start attacking him? I'm not saying don't criticize him. I'm not saying you shouldn't criticize him. Listen, some of the things he said in the press conference this week were not they were nuts. They were crazy. He was not speaking with clarity. I was like, Trump, come on, man. You know exactly what's going to happen. Come on. But what if they just stopped? What if they stopped attacking and instead tried to find ways to be constructive? I'm going to bet you that if they stopped attacking, he would stop acting like an idiot. They are not innocent in this equation. The left, the media, they are not innocent in this scenario. He isn't innocent either. Everyone needs to make the choice to stop the circle jerk. I had a friend who was a therapist, and she said she loved the Twitter post that Hillary said, well, you wanted to make America great again, referring to Trump, and it is. The U.S. has the most COVID cases, paraphrasing. And I told her that made me sad that she liked that post. She went off on me. How is that even humane and from a therapist? Just makes me so sad that you could root for something that horrible. I don't speak politics with my extended family or post anything on social media for fear of being attacked. Most of them are more liberal and I am more conservative. Today I had two cousins going back and forth on Facebook that the idiot Trump supporters, that they still support him even though he told them to drink bleach. My nephew posted today that he knows there are some friends and family of his that are still Trump supporters and asked us all to drink some bleach as Trump ordered, basically saying to kill ourselves since we are so dumb. I would never speak to my family or friends like that because of their beliefs. I just don't get the hate they have. I know not all liberal people act like this, but I see it almost every day from certain members of my family. Yes, I consider myself to be a liberal leaning, but if I express an opinion that deviates from some of the more radical ideas nowadays, I get bloody dogpiled, so sometimes I just keep my mouth shut as I don't want to deal with it. I've been called an idiot and a destroyer of civilizations because I am a climate scientist who is convinced that human-caused climate change is real and presents a serious threat. Somewhat more polite is, everyone is entitled to their opinion, but since it's my profession, this smacks of Isaac Asimov's mention of the false notions that democracy means that my ignorance is as good as your knowledge. On the other hand, there are some overenthusiastic believers who expect me to confirm their pet idea of something that has gone bad that they think is due to climate change. And this last one I think is a really good one to end it on. As a former, very recent Bernie supporter, much of what I said when it was in context of supporting Bernie over mainstream media attacks, Democratic establishment attacks, it was all good. When I started seeing the parallels with how Trump's been treated and pointing them out, don't condone oppressor tools when they are directed at someone you dislike because they will be used against you someday. I started being called names, nasty remarks, MAGA being one of them, sad that's an insult, which only made me more suspicious about what anyone believed. I just know secure people aren't threatened by the difference. I don't think someone who trusts their perception of reality would need to attack someone with a slightly different one, even just slightly different. They actually helped me to wake up to all the mechanisms going on, propaganda, thought policing, narrative making. Thanks, I guess. But yes, my recent awakening puts me in the camp of excited to talk in a safe forum. Things don't need to be this way, folks. They don't need to be this way. You all have so much more in common than you realize, than you really do. Really think about this. Everyone is having a similar experience with regards to feeling as though they're being attacked for their political beliefs. Everyone. So then why can't we get together and come to some common understanding that this is not acceptable and it's not tenable. We cannot exist in this place forever. It's either going to continue getting worse or you have to make steps towards one another to start getting better. I'm going to do my best with this group and with some other projects I'm working on to try to make things better. And if you want to come and play that game with me, hey man, I don't care what you believe. I don't care who you vote for. You're more than welcome to join.